Hey there. Excuse me. Hey there. Aloha Milton here. The update. A long-awaited update. I don't know if anybody's actually waiting, but long time coming update. As you can see, I've moved the oil industry up over here into the corner. I've added track behind the hills, and I've added hills to the hills. I have siding up here. It's not long enough for my longest AM track, so I'm thinking of adjusting the curvature, which will make it slightly shorter, which won't really matter for the trains I'm running on it, that I want to have sitting up there. I'm willing to lose a car or two to slacken up the curvature in this corner and make it a little easier so that I can haul more than 6 cars with one engine at full notch, driving it carefully. You got to throttle up and throttle down when you hit the flatter spot. But it is what it is, but I've done a lot of work on this corner. The foam mock-up, all that will be glued together and will become base, and it all lifts out from the track, which will be a separate piece, the base, and then the hillsides coming down to the track will be lift out on their own wall shelving, so that I'll be able to lift that off and get access to that track. That's kind of necessary there because of the tunnel and the track hidden away back there, and the curvature and grade and all. Although it doesn't derail, but trains sometimes have trouble going up. You can just reverse them and try and get head of steam and make it through, or get a helper locomotive, bring it up from the yard. So that's the new hillside area. And this may curve around in front of the windows and actually have a like past Salinas loop up here above the 3D printer. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the oil industry here. I don't think I am. I think I'm going to put a rock quarry in here because it would be about the right place for the Granite Construction Company quarry up by the Watsonville Y, which is a big quarry that does big long unit trains of open hoppers with construction aggregate, and that would be a really cool industry to have in there. And it has a hillside. It's totally reversed yet perfect location, because I can do a big hillside with a big quarry cut in it, and the loading tracks and big long sidings looping around, and then have a reverse loop over there that will be like the Bay Area. And that will make the corner, the closet back upper yard area, that's like the Watsonville Y in the yard. Just imagine that it goes off towards Santa Cruz instead of looping around for the reverse there, because there's this line that goes out towards Santa Cruz. It's little used. There is some railroad activity in Santa Cruz with passenger train, light rail, and I think an excursion train, and there's the there's a steam railroad and heritage railroad up in the hills above Santa Cruz. It's really cool. Anyway, enough about that. So, on with the update to keep it short. I made some Supertrees. I really like them. If you can flock them heavy or light to get the effect you want, cut them down to make them the height you want. The parts that you cut off, I suggest flocking them while they're big and using the parts that you cut off to make them the right height as bushes and things, because it makes it easier to flock it all when it's all one. But it doesn't matter, you can flock them the small pieces as well. Just dip the tips in and roll them around. I do light foliage on them. I want to have a dense amount of bushes with light foliage. I think it'll look really realistic, and I can always add some more to the top. So yeah, Supertrees. I think they look pretty good. I'll try and hold the camera steady and zoom in, and you can get a real good look at what's going on here. I'll pan around, and you can pause it to examine it. If you're making decisions on what kind of trees you want to put on your layout, I highly recommend the Supertrees. And I flocked them with Woodland Scenics, various ground cover, and small scale foliage. And just did a variety to get an effect that I liked. It's my first attempt. I'm probably going to change the coloration and then do some in various different colors to differentiate between different types of trees, as well as trim the branches differently. These are supposedly to scale 120-foot trees, which the eucalyptus in the area that this is can get to, but it looks a little big. So I'm going to do them around 80 or 90 feet and use the lower branches as bushes. This area's been kind of repaired from all the moving around, and changed the scene a little bit just when I feel like it, just for fun. Started those hills, and you can get, from this angle, you can get an idea of the shape that it's going to be with that old road along it, or maybe it's where an old railroad used to go. This is an old road, actually. There is old roads that they had for access and to make extra cuts and just things when they were building the rail line, as well as forestry roads and things like that, and old mineral exploration roads and things like. There's just all kinds of old roads in the hills, California. So that's one of them. There's grass all over it. No vehicles have been on it for a while, but I'm trying to put a footpath on there eventually or something. I might put some lower down, put a little sign of vehicles having been on there a while ago or something. Try to make it look nice. The brown things, those are moss. The green stuff is Woodland Scenic's medium foliage. With this stuff's been dyed brown a bit, not as much as I would have liked, but I tried to do a wash of brown and soak it in it and then dry it. And a good helping of dust from all the cutting of wood for the benchwork. Rocks are all plaster, just extra plaster in the bin. I use a plastic bin so I can flex the bin, break the plaster, smash it up. Looks like rocks, because it basically is at that point, sedimentary rock that's been shattered, and make rocks out of them. And that's the best way to get rocks that are specific, and then I can color them. Even white plaster, doing that allows you the most freedom of coloring as well. But you can do the tan grout plaster and get rocks that are immediately like sandstone. This area has been washed with paint and water mixture. Raw sienna, burnt umber are the two main modifiers I use to the Sahara tan grout. Unsanded grout, Sahara tan, and regular old plaster of Paris are the two, is the mixture I use for ground coop. I need to put some texture on it in areas with some powdered plaster that then I spray some scenic cement on just to get it rougher in areas and smoother in others. But I find the basic, without modifying grit, just unsanded grout and plaster, it's very smooth, but at end scale that seems to be about compacted dirt. And I like to start with compacted dirt and then add texture as I need. I may change that. I may come up with a ground group mixture that has slight texture in it, looking at other people's mixtures online, but for now this is what I do. So this area, rather proud of the fascia, and I steamed it and bent it. It worked out okay. Broke in one spot where I didn't steam it enough, but I know to steam it more now, really soak it. I have to do this really hard corner here, and I might even boil a small piece, fit in there with wood slats on the back cut to the curvature out of plywood so that it supports it in the curvature, nail it in place, because it'll be boiled, it'll all warp if I don't have it really locked in with like 4 screws on each corner around a form. But if I have it like that, then it'll dry into shape and it should look good and look like part of the fascia. And I'm done. And then this area, and there's going to be a curve out to here, curving out to here, and that area I'll just steam as I did using the steam attachment in my espresso machine. And I'll make a video of both of those to show people how I did this, because I think it looks pretty good. It's this thin 1/8 mahogany plywood. And as, I don't know if I mentioned it in the past, but I'm going to try and water treat this stuff. But I have to wait until after winter because it's been raining like every other day. We got more rain in San Francisco here where I live than Seattle got this year. We got a lot of rain. It's been very humid, and I don't want to bother sealing it while it's all full of moisture. I'd rather wait until middle of summer and pull it apart as I need. And everything with foam on it, it's got the wood glue sealing it in between the foam and the wood, or a full layer of liquid nails, either of which I'll do to seal, and then the areas that are exposed then I'll stain or seal this summer when it's dry, because it's all fairly reasonable to take apart or even just reach in and paint and seal most of it. Hopefully that'll work out. Anyway, that's that for that part. This is where the track goes behind the mountains. Goes back this way. That's just the folded over. That image, ignore that. It's upside down hills from where the fold for this temporary backdrop that I'm not going to keep because it's not to scale. It's not the right scale. It's not what I want. Mountains are too far away. That's actually this ridge line that I've modeled right here is, where is it? Where's the rail line? It's like right up in there. It's like right up in there is where the rail line is. This is the Cuesta grade. Up in here somewhere. This is the hills behind San Luis Obispo. Found a panorama from online from someone's nature hike. It's not quite the high enough resolution to really work with, so I'm gonna have to do something else. Patch together photos of individual hillsides that are the shape I want to back up these from the same mountain range, and do some photoshopping and patch them all together with the sky background, and that should work. But that's going to be a project. Alright, last part of the update is the north end of the yard. I did a hill, some plastering in the track just to see how I want to do the rest of it. I like the hill, keeping it, it's working for me. Making a bridge there. I've got the bridge structure all in good, supported with little notches on a nice piece of, what they call it, basswood or something like that. It's harder than, I think this is basswood, not balsa, so it's harder. Anyway, even if it's balsa, it's okay because it's going to have a lot more structure built onto it, but that's the base structure that then will have the steel panels on the side for this part, and then right about there it stops, and there's like an older wood section with pylons into the ground. This end, that end at least, will be very prototypical to a bridge right on this proto-fancy layout near the oil industry. It's all kinda, sorta, kinda, but not really super prototypical. I might stop it right there and do like 1 or 2 pylons on this end to complete the effect, because the bridge that I'm seeing pictures of in the area has this wood ends on a slope, and but then that stops, and then it's built up concrete box structure supporting a steel box girder bridge or something like that, I think it's called. Anyway, you get the idea. Worked on the roads a bit in here. A little knoll or something by the team track that lumber truss maker near the Guadalupe yard uses, but it also gets used for other stuff. Right now it's holding the gondolas that I use in the oil industry as pseudo coal hoppers while I work on that, while I worked on the shelf, which was a big job because I had to remove every little thing, people, buildings, cars, pipes, mock-ups, foliage, then and then the track up there, all the foam shelf work, the wood shelf work that was underneath it, which was mock-up, and then cut this board and redo it all, and it's all coming back together though. And it's good to have the space to dial in this area a little better. So it's been fun getting to this point, and there's more to come, but that's about it for now. Let's look at the whole shelf layout setup. It's all very narrow through that area. 16 inches off the wall, so it's like you know, like a bookcase or something as far as it dominating the room. This sticks out a lot, but I may remove it and do this whole area over in front of the windows. For now, just a mock-up of a switching arrangement just for fun, just to run some trains sometimes. This would be where the Santa Maria Valley Railroad offices and their small little yard where they do work on their switchers and stuff, and they do some rail car axle work and stuff. I was reading on their website that they're fixing rail cars for UP or corporate clients. So that's where I had that for now, but I think it's all going to move over behind the monitors, and then over here, and the 3D printer and printer will move and go somewhere else or below it. Not quite sure yet, but she'll see. Because I don't like the reverse loop the way it is. This here has been the most pain in the butt part to deal with. Is when anything happens to the train through there, the switch that's way back deep in there, or on this reverse loop that goes way deep into there, it's all just kind of like, oh man, not again. So I'm thinking of doing some major changes to that to have that track more exposed. I don't know, we'll see. I'll draw up a mock-up on paper and maybe have that in the next update. But for now, that should do it, since that's been like almost 17 minutes, coming up on 17 minutes of just rambling about the layout and where I'm at. The wireframe and foam stage in a lot of areas, but we've moved beyond that in others. Anyway, happy modeling, and take care everybody. Have a good rest of the week and have a good weekend. Cheers.